And we are back, continuing our directed immersion in the book of Judges, chapter 4, in the original Hebrew. We are in verse 11 now. So I'm just going to go ahead and scan the verse. V'chever hakeni nithrad mikayin mibnei chovav choten Moshe vayet aholo ad Elon v'tza'ananim asher et kedesh. All right, some interesting stuff happening here. So the chever, now this is a name. I have it in gray. A name. If you're looking, obviously you can't tell that if you're listening, which is fine. So we have a conjunction vav and chever hakeni, the Kenite, nithrad. So the verb is actually parad. All right, so that's a noon there at the beginning. And that noon tells us it's a niphal. That's a noon prefix. It's not saying we. So the verb parad, pay, reish, dalet, and I'm pronouncing it with a pay because pay and fay, it's the same thing in meaning, right? So parad means like to, well, it's used, for example, with wings on a creature or an angel to extend their wings, right? Like to kind of spread out. It means to spread out, right? Like to spread out in a position. And in the niphal, it can have the meaning of to diverge or to be separated. So nifrad is passive because it's niphal. Usually nifal's passive. So it was separated. Mik kayin. Mik, that's min, mem noon. The noon has assimilated. Mik, so it's kof yod noon from kayin. This is actually kayin number 3, which is the name of a tribe, right? Like, or a tribal association. So vechever hakeni. Now chever, the Kenite, nifrad. He was separated, mik kayin, from kayin. Mibnei chovav. So we have a construct change. So mib, bnei, it's min. The noon is assimilated again. From the bnei chovav. I say the because chovav is definite. So it imparts its definiteness over here. So mib bnei chovav, which we'll just read mib bnei chovav. From the children of chovav. Now who is chovav? This is interesting. Choten Moshe. Choten Moshe. And we've been kind of talking about this a little bit recently over in the Anshe Yisrael men's discussion group. If you like to, if you're a Bnei Yisrael, if you're part of our group, our belief system that the Torah of God stands forever, we should keep His laws. It's a moral imperative, and you believe in the testimony of Yeshua, and the Chazal actually matter, the teachings of the sages matter, the Mishnah matters, these sorts of things matter, then please feel free to join us over in the Telegram group Bnei Israel. Maybe an admin could post that link here now for the screening room. You can be screened by the admins, and they'll just make sure that we're a good fit for each other. And if you're a guy, you can also come over to Anshe Yisrael then, where we have kind of debates and discussions about things. So we've been discussing something kind of related to this topic. So maybe take note, gentlemen, this is interesting. So Choten is in the construct. This is a father-in-law of Moshe. Okay, so the father-in-law of Moshe. But wait a second, what about Geul? And what about Yithro? Who is this Chobab? Chobab, or Chovav here, which his name in Aramaic and other Semitic languages has to do with like love and affection. It's a nice name. You can imagine his, kind of like darling, you can imagine his mommy calling him darling. This was a son of Yithro. So, interesting. So it looks here like Moshe, one of his fathers-in-law, well, we know he married a Cushi woman, right? An Ethiopian woman, and that kind of set off Miriam. Miriam was upset about that, and while he already had Zipporah as a wife, so he had Re'ul or Yithro as a father-in-law, and then he takes this other one, and now it looks like he has another father-in-law who is Chovav. So you could see this happening. He lives for a very long time in that small kind of family unit. And Yithro had all these daughters, right? And so you could see that maybe not wanting to take a sister, which is frowned upon, to marry two sisters, he decides, kind of cementing the family relation, perhaps to marry the son's daughter as well. So it's interesting. So Chovav would be his brother-in-law and also his choten. That's a kind of an interesting thing in the ancient Near East. So Mibnei Chovav, from the children of Chovav, the descendants of Chovav, Choten Moshe, the father-in-law of Moshe. All right. And then here you see this kind of glowing. If you're looking, I have a glowing line. That's just, if you recall from our previous lesson, the previous slide we're saying I was marking out all the waw-conversives, or the waw-conversives, as scholars usually call them, because the consonantal vav was a waw. This would have said waw, yaz, aik. Okay. All right. Get back to where I was. Oy. Too many animations there. Vayet. Vayet. Aholo. Or aholo. Okay, Yate is a bit difficult to recognize what's going on there. So I have a note that I made for you. You can just listen, that's fine. Basically, it's a doubly weak verb, and all that's left is the tet. The verb is noon, tet, hey. Noon, tet, hey. Nata, nata, which is a call, QAL, binyan, or the light, the basic verbal stem. And nata, it can mean a few things. It can mean like to bend, to turn, as in to turn away from the law of God, to the right or to the left, right? To do evil. It doesn't mean to do evil, but like turning from the law is doing evil. Or it can mean to bend down low, right? Again, to bend in general, like showing respect. So, or to stretch out. We see this verb used in Shemot when Moshe stretches out his hand, right? Holding the rod of God. So here we have Vayet. So the noon is gone and the final hair gone, and all we're left with is the tet. Okay, and we have the y. The y is not part of the verbal root. It means he. So yet means he will stretch out, or he is stretching out. Okay, and the vav conversive, if you're a visual learner, I have glowing here, neon green, is going to change that aspect. So instead of he will stretch out or he is stretching out as an imperfect, it changes it to a perfect, the understanding at least. So vayet, and he stretched out. What did he stretch out? Aholo, the tent of O. Ohel is Aleph, Hey, Lamed. Ad, until. Elon, Aleph, Lamed, Vav, Nun, which is a name. Be, Tza'an, Nayim. At Tza'anayim, that's a place name. Asher, Aleph Shin Resh, which et Kedesh. All right, I just changed the color of et if you're a visual learner. When I go through and I mark these, a lot of times I'm just kind of going through, maybe listening to something and just kind of on autopilot marking. So I see et, usually et is the definite direct object marker, but it's not here. So here, Asher, which is et Kedesh, or Kedesh, however you want to read it. Here it literally means with. This is the word with. So literally with Kedesh or Kedesh, which is a little bit odd way, probably the narrator here in Judges, his little dialectical form of saying at, which is at Kedesh. Looks the same as the definite direct object marker. So context will tell sometimes it's the DDO, sometimes it's with. All right? Okay. Let's read that again. And you try to translate before I do. Vechevel, my voice broke there. Vechevel hakeni nithrad mikkayin. Now chevel hak keni, the Kenite, nithrad, had diverged, had spread out, Kayin, from Kayin, Mibnei Chovav, from the children of Chovav, Choten Moshe, the father-in-law of Moshe. Vayet, and Yet, and he spread out, he natad, aholo, the tent of Ad, until Elon, Betza'anayim, at Tza'anayim, that's the place name, Asher, which is Et Kadesh, Et, with Kadesh, that's the place name. So at Kadesh, or you can just say Kadesh using kind of the Israeli pronunciation today. All right? Let's read it through one more time. This time I won't translate. Just do your best to understand. Vechever hakeni nifrad mekayin mibnei chovav choten Moshe vayet aholo ad elon betza'anayim asher et kadesh. All right, let's do verse 12. It's not too long. I think we can bang out 12. Verse 12 says, Vayagidu leSisra ki la'ala Barak ben Avinoam har Tavo. Okay, let's pick that apart a bit. Vayagidu. So the verbal root here is Nun Gimel Dalet. And if you're watching along, you'll see I put a Nun there and kind of put it inside the Dalet. Hold on, my case is coming off. Nagad is to relate or to tell something, right? This is where we get the Passover Haggadah. It's the Nagada, like the telling, right? And the Nun assimilated into the Gimel there too. So Haggadah, right? Han Gada became Haggadah. And this is kind of difficult to see what's going on here, but it actually is a hiphil form of the verb. What happened is that the text didn't record the long chirik, the E, and so the Masoret, they put a dagesh there, but you don't read it just like you read it like E instead, right? Now the yo and the u tells us they. So yo, gid, u means they will tell about or they are telling about. And then the waw-conversive is going to change that for us. The waw-conversive will make it so it's more like a perfect, it's like a past tense in English. Vayagidu, and they told about Sisra, to Sisra. So they're telling Sisra, they're reporting to him, right? Or maybe you could even translate it that way, reported. Sorry, something hit the microphone. My pillow keeps, I have a pillow around my neck, keeps hitting the microphone. Sorry about that. Vayagidu leSisra, and it was told to Sisra, literally, and they told to Sisra, ki, kaf yod, that, Allah Barak, that Barak, Allah, Ayin Lamed Hey, went up. Oh, I'm sorry, the subject's longer. It's not just Barak, it's Barak ben Avinoam. Barak, the son of Avinoam, had went up, Har Tavor, to Mount Tavor. Okay, so let's do that again. Vayagid u, and they related, they told, or you could even say caused to tell, Sisra, to Sisra, that's a name, to Sisra, Samech Yod, Samech Reish Aleph, ki, that, Allah, Barak, ben Avinoam, that Barak, the son of Avinoam, Allah, had gone up, Har Tavor, to literally the mountain of Tabor. By the way, there's an Israeli gun that's named after the Tabor. All right, how'd you guys do? Did you get it? You understand? Any comments or questions? I'm going to read through 12 one more time. Do your best to understand it, all right? I won't translate this time. Vayagidu lesisra ki ra'la barak ben Avinoram har Tavor. Okay, you guys, have a wonderful rest of Hanukah, and I will see you tomorrow for our Exodus learning. May you be exceedingly blessed and overjoyed and learn Hebrew very well and enjoy the process. It's a wonderful, wonderful gift, Lashon HaKodesh, and I hope you will treasure it in your hearts. Shalom, shalom.